Well, good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, July 15th, 2025. We are here this morning for our Administrative Matters meeting. I call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kristen Stevens. I'm Chair of the Board of County Commissioners, and with me is my fellow Commissioner, Commissioner John Kafalis. Commissioner Jody Shattuck McNally is away this morning. To my right, we have from the Clerk and Recorder's Office, Deirdre O'Neill helping us with note-taking. We have our County Manager, Lorinda Volker, Tom Clayton from Public Affairs, and Sarah Martin from the Commissioner's Office. We will begin, as we always do, with public comment this morning. We have one person signed up for public comment. That's Cindy Buckhart. Cindy, we'll have you come up to the front. You'll have 3 minutes to speak, and I'll ask you to introduce yourself.
Cindy Buckhart, President of the Larimer County 4-H Foundation. I'd like to address the comments that you, the County Commissioners, have made several times following my 3 minutes. You have stated that you do not agree with the information that has been presented since Connor McGrath's email of March 24th. I can substantiate every comment made with documentation. I have given you a notebook documenting 6 years of emails that have taken place and not one states a violation. Have you even bothered to review the documents I submitted? Please don't state how you support the Larimer County 4-H Foundation. What a falsehood, because if you did, I would not be here. We have repeatedly asked for written documentation of any violations the foundation has made, and we've never received anything. You, the county commissioners, are in charge of the ranch event complex, a Larimer County-owned facility, so you have the final say on what happens at the ranch. Therefore, it is you that can reinstate the Larimer County 4-H Foundation to full access of the facilities. If you are in disagreement with the foundation's use of the facilities, then we would appreciate a written statement on county letterhead stating that the foundation is not welcome at the ranch and the specific reason why and not for non-compliance. We would like the documentation sooner rather than later, as during the county fair, the foundation sponsors a silent auction to raise funds for the Poultry Memorial Scholarship. It would be a shame for this memorial not to continue. As I stated, I can back up any statements we've made. Back in 1998, the Larimer County Foundation voted to spend foundation funds to form a committee to promote the location of the new fairgrounds. In 1998, taxpayers voted for a one-year tax to purchase 243 acres for the new Larimer County Fairgrounds and Event Center. In 1999, another tax initiative was presented to voters for 1.5 cents on a $10 purchase for a period of 20 years. What will the facility be used for was asked, and the reply was the Larimer County Fair and Rodeo. And as we all know, the Larimer County Fair is about 4-H. The initial tax is to be used for 24,000 square foot 4-H youth community building. This tax referendum passed because of the efforts of the Larimer County 4-H Foundation did in promoting it to the citizens of Larimer County. In 1999, the foundation established an account to fund raised for the 4-H building. The foundation entered into an agreement in 2001 with the Larimer County Board of Commissioners to establish a pass-through account so that individuals and businesses could contribute to the building of the Larimer County Fairgrounds and Event Center. The fund was known as the Fairground Fund. The very foundation that you are now prohibiting from using the facilities that they promoted and helped with the financing. If it were not for the efforts of the Larimer County 4-H Foundation promoting the fairgrounds and Event Center initiative, there may not even be a ranch event complex.
Thank you, Cindy. There's no one else in the audience that here that would be speaking. So, Sarah, was there anyone who wanted to call in with public comment?
No, Commissioner.
Okay, then we'll close public comment, and I'll bring it back to the commissioners. Commissioner Kafalis, is there any response that you want to give?
Very brief.
Okay, please go ahead.
Well, just as a courtesy to say thank you for your presence, Cindy, and as you said earlier, would not be the same if you weren't here pretty much every Tuesday. So thank you for your work.
Yeah, I'll just echo that. Thank you, Cindy, for your public comments. We'll move on to approval of the minutes. Commissioner Kafalis, will you make a motion on this item?
Yes.
Okay.
I move to approve the minutes for the week of July 7th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes 2-0. We'll move to Sarah for the upcoming schedule review.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for July 21st through the 26th, 2025. On Monday, July 21st from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual Larimer County Opioid Abatement Advisory Group meeting. From 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., there will be a work session regarding performance measures for community planning, infrastructure, and resources in the Commissioner's Conference Room on the second floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioner's Conference Room on the second floor. From 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual State Joint Allocation Group meeting. On Tuesday, July 22nd, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fort Collins Downtown Development Authority Debt Ceiling 2027 meeting at 19 Old Town Square, Suite 230 in Fort Collins. From 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Rodeo Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the McKee 4-H Youth and Community Building or virtually via Zoom. From 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Town of Berthoud Board of Trustees meeting at Town Hall at 807 Mountain Avenue in Berthoud. On Wednesday, July 23rd, from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., Commissioners Kafalas and Shattuck McNally may attend the North Fort Collins Business Association meeting at the Rocky Mountain Innisphere at 320 East Vine Drive in Fort Collins. From 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., there will be a Commissioner's Budget Retreat at the Horsetooth Area Information Center at 4200 West County Road 38E in Fort Collins. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Advisory Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 200 Peridot Avenue in Loveland or virtually via Zoom. From 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fair Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the McKee 4-H Youth and Community Building or virtually via Zoom. On Thursday, July 24th, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will attend the NHP Foundation Galena Apartments groundbreaking celebration at 602 Galena Street in Frisco. From 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Interim Policy meeting. From 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioner Kafalas will host a community conversation for the Red Feather Lakes community. Topic will be announced prior to the meeting. This will take place at 58 Firehouse Lane in Red Feather Lakes. From 2 p.m. to 3:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Regional Opioid Abatement Council meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at 2260 West Trilby Road in Fort Collins or virtually via Zoom. From 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Non-Attainment Area Air Pollution Mitigation Enterprise Board meeting. From 5 p.m. to 8 p.m., Commissioners Kafalas and Shattuck McNally may attend the Open Lands and Parks Advisory Board meeting at 2260 West Trilby Road in Fort Collins. On Friday, July 25th, from 8:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may participate in the virtual State Forest Health Council Legislative Committee meeting. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Middle Income Housing Authority Board meeting. From 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together member check-in meeting. On Saturday, July 26th, from 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioners will participate in the Larimer County Fair and Rodeo Parade in downtown Loveland.
Thank you, Sarah. Commissioner Kafalas, any corrections or additions? No? Okay. Just a couple things for me. First of all, I guess I wanted to explain why I'm going all the way to Frisco for a groundbreaking. That is because the Middle Income Housing Authority is having this will be the first project that the Middle Income Housing Authority has gotten off the ground. It's a limited partnership. We help them with financing, and so it's pretty excited for our first project, our first statewide project to get off the ground. So I wanted to make sure I was there for that groundbreaking. And then second, I do believe that the Non-Attainment Area Air Pollution Mitigation Enterprise Board meeting on Thursday has been canceled. So I will not be going to that. And I think that's it for me. Thank you very much. So we will move on to our consent agenda, which is quite short this morning. So the first items on the consent agenda are agreements, and the first agreement is a contract for electric service for the central diversion and transfer station at Larimer County Solid Waste. This is exciting because we're seeing the pieces of solid waste, the new landfill and the new transfer station come together. And so this would be, the total dollar amount for this would be approximately $106,000. The next agreement is the Masonville Broadband Boring Project. This is boring, not interesting, but actually boring, digging, and installing conduit along County Road 27, and to install broadband middle mile capabilities for the Masonville area. So that's also a very exciting agenda item because we will be able to help potentially bring some broadband to the Masonville area. The total dollar amount is approximately $640,000. We have several midterm appointments to the Workforce Development Board. Commissioner Cafalas was busy. We have Amber Ron, Mark Woodrum, Caitlin Wyrick, Kayla Garlow, and Dana Gaines, who will all be serving terms through June 30th of 2026. We have one deed of dedication of easement to Poudre Fire Authority. This is a permanent easement for emergency access on land that's co-owned by our solid waste, City of Fort Collins, and City of Loveland, in association with the planned transfer station. There are 4 liquor licenses. Liquor license report of corporate changes for the Mishawaka Amphitheater. That's a tavern license. There's a liquor license renewal for Dish Up 2 LLC, which we all know as Vern's Place, and that is in LaPorte, and that's a hotel and restaurant license. A liquor license renewal for the Glen Haven General Store, and that's a fermented malt beverage off-premise license. And finally, a liquor license renewal for Supermarket Liquors, and that is a retail liquor store license. We have 5 miscellaneous items. The first is advancing for 2026, you heard that right, 2026 legislative proposals through our Colorado Counties, Inc. legislative priority process. So we are advancing 4 proposals through this process, and you can find more about those online. We are already thinking ahead to 2026, and we thank Shane Atkinson for that help with that. And then finally, we have 4 requests for approval to enter upon lands to do weed mitigation. So that is it for our consent agenda. Commissioner Cafalas, would you want to remove anything from the consent agenda?
No, Madam Chair.
I do not want to remove anything either, so will you make the motion for this item, please?
Yes. I move to approve the consent agenda for July 15th, 2025.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion passes. Looking at some empty chairs, I don't believe we have a commissioner's guest this morning. But guests are welcome. So we also have no discussion items this morning. And so we will move on to our county manager update.
Thank you, Commissioners. Last week was a busy internal coordination week, but I did have 2 external meetings. I met with Chris Kirk, the Berthoud Town Manager, and Matt Robinall, the Fort Collins Downtown Development Authority Executive Director. Those are always great meetings. And most excitingly last week, although everything I did was, of course, very exciting, The Strategic Leadership Committee had an opportunity to see presentations from our 3 finalists for our Innovation Awards. The finalists were Text to Park from Natural Resources, so the idea that you can come up, scan a QR code, and pay using a parking app was something that the group found innovative. Mobile Call Center, which is sort of a call center in a box, they're calling it, for emergency management. So they can take this equipment out on the road and they can set up a call center to be able to reunify family members, to provide updated information on the status of a disaster, all kinds of good reasons. It's been borrowed a couple of times from CSU and City of Fort Collins. It is a regional resource that we have, so that is through our emergency management office. And then the jail art project, which I know we all went over to see at the museum. We went over to see the art exhibited, and there's a lot of the art still being on display in downtown. It's a creative outlet for folks who are incarcerated in our jail. Those 3 were interviewed. The strategic leadership team did decide that the mobile call center was maybe the most innovative, with the other 2 tying for second place, Text to Park and Jail Art. So we will celebrate these folks publicly. In September, we have an Innovation Awards ceremony on September 12th. In the meantime, a video will be made documenting the winners, and it'll be up on our website. So that was a great, wonderful time to recognize the innovation in our community and among our employee groups. They're always looking for better ways to do what they do, and these were 3, I think, really great ways to do it. I believe HR said there were 10 or 12 submittals. The Guiding Principles Champion, which is a group of county employees, decided on the finalists, and then those finalists presented to the Strategic Leadership Committee. So there's quite a process around it, and we'll be celebrating all of the folks who submitted ideas, because all the ideas were innovative, and it's just too bad you can't award something to everyone in this case. So congratulations to the team members. We're really excited to celebrate you and to talk more about this.
Thanks, Lorinda. Anything, questions or comments for Lorinda? Just a thumbs up. Yeah, thank you, Lorinda. That's really great. Innovation helps us. Sometimes it helps us save money, but it often helps us do our jobs more efficiently and deliver services more efficiently. So we appreciate that, and it's great to hear about those items. And I think they're all innovative, as you said, but we'll look forward to those awards in the fall. We'll move on to Commissioner Activity Reports. Commissioner Kafalis, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I have a few things to share that I think are relevant. I'll go in reverse chronological order. Yesterday, Monday, it was very nice to be able to hike the Bay to Bay Trail, which is a new trail that our Natural Resources Trail crew has built. It goes around the peninsula there, around the mountain, from the South Bay, where the beach area is, just beyond that, the pavilion, and it goes around to the Inlet Bay, where the marina is. It's very scenic, a lot of nice views, and I got to hike that with our DNR director and open space director, as well as our CPERS director, service area director. So that was really great, and I enjoyed that, and we had good conversation. And also, the 3 of us went up to the Satanka Bay area to have lunch under the shade, discuss some of the issues, and watch all the paddle boarders have a good time up there. There was an individual who came up to us, must have recognized at least one of us, and gave us some positive feedback on some changes we've done up there with the rental of paddle boards and concessionaires that have helped a great deal. In the afternoon, I was joined by our county manager and other folks, community justice alternatives folks. We had a roundtable with 6 legislators who came, and it was really to present an overview of the community corrections programs that we have, and I thought it was very well received. There was a lot of engagement. We had a client panel, folks who are participating. They were very eloquent. We did a site visit, and then in particular afterwards, we talked about a potential joint budget committee proposal regarding a way to save the state money, but ultimately one of the unintended consequences might be to undermine, once again, local control and local flexibility. it has to do with what's called an auto accept policy at the state level. So they would establish criteria that apply to all the jurisdictions, and people coming from the Department of Corrections would we'd follow these criteria. So we talked about that and discussed some other options. And so I think a shout out is due to Shane Atkinson, our legislative director, and Emily Humphrey and other folks for organizing that event. I thought it was very successful. On Saturday, I had a LaPorte community conversation, had about a dozen folks, good discussion, provided updates around the transportation master plan, the proposal for perhaps bringing to the voters a sales tax initiative regarding transportation funding, provided updates on the Highway 287 safety projects that are going on up there through CDOT, Department of Transportation, as well as the realignment of Highway 287, which is supposed to begin next year, 2026, as well as the actual construction, the beginning of the construction of the Glade Reservoir Dam, and I think that's more 2026, 2027. So good discussion. Afterwards, I actually visited the farmers market and just walked around and connected with folks. That was really great to experience the good energy and all of that. But one reason I'm bringing that up is in my daily review of the obituaries, I noticed yet another friend who has passed on. And I don't know if you have met Tony Koski. He was a professor at CSU, a longtime volunteer with the farmers market. I think he was like a lawn specialist, just a really beautiful, pleasant person. And he died on Saturday, the same day. He was battling pancreatic cancer for a number of years, but he was always present. He was always at the market. We were always having really lively discussions about what to do about bindweed and things of that nature. So he passed away. There is a memorial mass at St. Joseph's Catholic Church on Friday. Trying to navigate what we have going on Friday afternoon, and then there's also a reception at the Flower Trial Gardens out by College Avenue there. Let me go a little bit faster here. Friday, the State Board of Human Services, our rulemaking session. I mentioned to them that after a year and a half, I will no longer be a commissioner. Seems like we have elections in August. They still want me to be chair of the State Board of Human Services, so we'll figure that out in August. Attended a couple of boards and commissions, Environmental and Science Advisory Board, Ag Advisory Board, and I guess I'll stop there. That's enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Sounds like you had a very busy week.
Oh,
and
not too busy. No.
appreciate the work that you did in hosting legislators and letting them
Yeah.
know about community corrections. That piece is really
That
important.
was good.
Yeah.
Actually.
So I'll just share a couple things. I was at our National Association of Counties conference last week. I am part of the leadership for the Transportation Committee, and I was asked to moderate a session on electric vehicles. And I wanted to thank Heidi Pruis and Abby Stapleton for getting me really great information about how our EV policies and EV charging stations, and we even got to, Heidi even found a photo of our charging station at Horsetooth, so that was on display at the National Association of Counties, and it was probably one of the prettiest places. There's an EV charging station, but that was it was a great session because we really talked about not only, the need for charging stations in our communities, but what that looks like from the grid perspective. We had a fire chief on the panel, and he was able to kind of talk about, what safety kind of issues around EVs. We had someone from General Motors who, basically said that EVs are here to stay and that, they will always be part of the mix. And so that really encouraged counties to really start thinking about what it was like to do a charging station. And one of the sort of scary things that the fire chief had shared with us was that, please provide EV charging stations and please, permit those and make them required in new homes, because he had seen a lot of people who sort of DIY'd it with charging and had definitely already had fires that he and his crew had to put out that were because people decided that they probably could figure out how to charge on their own or tap into different sources around the community and do their own charging, and that is not a good idea. So it was a really interesting panel, and I was really honored to be able to do that. And like I said, I thank our staff for their help with preparing for that panel. And we're able to put a lot of resolutions through. The resolutions that happen at the National Association of Counties are really good because it helps the staff figure out how to advocate for us on Capitol Hill, because we're not always in DC, but they are. And so a lot of the resolutions were around direct funding to counties for transportation. We'll see how far that goes, but as folks might know, the surface transportation reauthorization should be happening later this year or early next year. And so we really want to make sure that counties are there, present, and asking for those direct dollars, because we know that those are really important. And then, just met with a lot of people from our Colorado coalition. We had about maybe 15 or so folks that came from Colorado, but lots of programming on leadership and how to deal with natural disasters and other things. So it was a good conference, and I attended with Commissioner Shattuck McNally, and I'm sure she'll have some words to say about it next week. But that is it for me. So with that, we have a couple of legal items on the agenda, and there is no decision expected after we meet. So we will be adjourning this meeting and not coming back. Commissioner Kavalis, I guess I'll ask you to make those motions for those executive sessions. And like I said, then we'll be done for the day. And so we will see you next week.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And before I do, I just tiny bit of guidance whether they should be two separate motions. They're both citing the same statute. We will do that. We'll do two separate ones, and we'll move into executive session. So I move
Perfect.
the Board of County Commissioners move into executive session pursuant to the Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-4, 402, 4B, conferences with an attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice about affordable housing, power, and funding options for county government.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0.
Thank you. I furthermore move the Board of County Commissioners move into executive session pursuant to the Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-402, 4B, conferences with an attorney for the purpose of receiving legal advice, and Colorado Revised Statute 24-6-402, 4E, determining positions, developing strategy, and instructing negotiators regarding Astrid versus Larimer County, Federal District Court, case number 23-CV-02051.
Thank you, Commissioner. Another motion on the table. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. So we will now move into executive session. So we are done with this meeting. As I said, we won't be coming back to this meeting. So we will see you next week, Larimer County, and have a great week.